For 20 years, Ellen Granger had lived with her husband Martin on the quiet edge of a wooded valley in northern Idaho. They were a quiet couple. No children, few visitors, and only one rule that Martin had ever truly insisted on. Don't open the shed. The small red structure stood at the very back of the property, half hidden by pine trees. Weather-worn and plain, it looked no different than any tool shed. Martin had padlocked it the day they moved in. Over the years, Ellen asked about it now and then, lightly, playfully, but he always answered the same way. Just junk. Old things. Dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. She stopped asking. Martin wasn't a man prone to mystery. He worked as a mechanic, read old novels, made excellent pancakes, and never raised his voice. So she let the shed be, until he died. It was sudden, a heart attack in his sleep. Quiet, painless, alone. In the days that followed the funeral, Ellen was wrapped in a fog of grief and paperwork. The house was full of his tools, clothes, and books, but it felt hollow without his quiet humming or warm laugh. 1 week after the funeral, Ellen found the shed key in his bedside drawer, wrapped in a strip of cloth. She held it in her hand for a long time. Then, just after sunset, she walked to the grass of the shed, her breath misting in the spring air. She unlocked the padlock, opened the door, and froze. It wasn't a shed at all. Inside was a room, far larger than the building's exterior could have allowed. The walls curved and shimmered faintly. Strange symbols glowed along the edges, soft blue and green light pulsing like the heartbeat of a sleeping creature. On the floor was a circle of metal, marked with alien script. Floating above it, suspended in cylinder glass, was a creature, small, curled like a child, with dark, leathery skin and faintly glowing veins. It opened its eyes when it saw her. Not human eyes, not animal eyes, but intelligent, aware. Martin? Ellen whispered. What is this? The creature blinked, then closed its eyes again. She stepped inside, breath shallow. The air felt charged, like before a lightning strike. Around the chamber were notebooks, labeled drawers, screens with unfamiliar languages that somehow made sense the longer she stared at them. She opened one drawer and gasped. Inside were photographs, black and white images of ships, ruins, non-human life. Some looked decades old. There were pages and pages of notes in Martin's handwriting. Specimen arrived in 1989. Survived crash, wounded. Keeps asking for home. Cannot send signal through standard Earth tech. Promised I would try. Ellen backed away slowly, mind spinning. Martin had been keeping an alien in their backyard for over 30 years. That night, she barely slept. Her mind reeled with memories. Martin disappearing into the shed for hours. Strange hums she'd once written off as wind. The way their electricity sometimes flickered. Why hadn't he told her? Didn't he trust her? Or had he been protecting her? The next morning, she returned to the shed with coffee, a notepad, and a blanket. She stood before the suspended creature and whispered, I think I'm ready to talk now. To her surprise, a gentle chime rang through the room. A screen lit up. Words formed in English. You are not the one who found me. No, Ellen said softly. He's gone. I'm his wife. A pause. Then he was kind. I was dying. He saved me. Ellen felt tears sting her eyes. Why didn't he tell me? Fear, not of you, of what would happen if you knew, if others knew. She nodded. He was like that. Careful. He said you were gentle, that you would help. Ellen took a deep breath. What do you need? A signal, a beacon. He was building it. She looked around and found a half-assembled machine in the corner. Coils, crystals, a strange antenna. Martin had been working on it until the day he died. Ellen was no scientist, but she knew tools, knew patience, knew determination. I'll finish it, she said. The next week passed in a blur. Ellen spent hours in the shed, reading Martin's notes, sorting tools, assembling parts. The alien, who began calling itself Kale, guided her gently, offering translations and corrections. At night, Ellen would fall asleep clutching Martin's pillow, whispering, You really weren't boring at all, were you? As the beacon neared completion, the lights in the shed pulsed brighter. Kale grew stronger, his form slowly shifting. Less like a wounded creature, more like a young being awakening from a coma. One night, as Ellen calibrated the last node, she felt a strange calm wash over her. The machine hummed. It's ready, Kale said. May I show you something? Ellen nodded. A beam of soft blue light rose from the beacon, and it formed an image. Martin younger, smiling, holding a tiny, wounded Kale in his arms. He was speaking to the camera. If you're seeing this, Elle, I'm gone. I didn't want to leave you with this, but I know you. I know you'd never stop asking. And now I need you to help Kale the way I couldn't. He trusted me. I trust you. He looked away for a moment, then smiled again. And hey, I told you I had secrets. The image faded. Ellen laughed through her tears. You idiot. You beautiful idiot. That night, they sent a signal. A pulse of light rippled into the stars. Cale closed his eyes and whispered, "They'll come." 3 days later, they did. From the sky, just past the tree line, a vessel unlike anything on Earth descended. Silent, graceful, glowing with the same energy as a shed. Cale looked at her. You gave me more than survival. You gave me peace. Ellen touched his shoulder. You gave me a reason to keep going. He entered the ship, and before the door closed, he said, he loved you very much. I know, she whispered. The ship vanished into the sky, and Ellen, for the first time in a week, walked back to the house, smiling.